8, come up here closer. So some of you are 3 and 4 deep, come up here closer. Some of you in the back need to come up closer. Up here to the sides. Guys, if you're taller, please go to the back so that the people shorter can see in front of you, okay?
Can you see very well? You can go right up there by him too.
I'm trying to work with you,
under
but
there,
you
go right up
work
there
with
by
me
him.
too.
Just do your best, guys. That's all you can do.
Okay.
You can go right up closer if you want, right up there.
Now, this one we're going to be talking about water, the water cycle, and pollution, okay? So who can tell me what water is? Something we drink. It can be a liquid. What else? Yeah.
You could freeze it.
You can freeze it, so therefore it could be a solid. Yeah, it can be wet. What else? It's good for you at times. Okay, so it can also be a gas. It's H2O, it's hydrogen, it's oxygen, it's a compound, but what percent of your body is water?
99%.
How much?
90%.
Nope, not 90%. Roughly 75 to 80% of your body is water. So it's very essential that you have lots of water, because that way your body will function properly. And also you'll feel better. For a reason you feel bad at times because you're dehydrated, okay? So we got what water is. How about the water cycle? Yes.
Water is mostly found in the lakes or oceans.
Okay. Now, water cycle. What is the water cycle? So, now what the parts are, I want to know what the water cycle is. Can anyone tell me what the water cycle is?
First, the water is in a lake, it'll go to the cloud, and
Okay, that's what's going on. But the water cycle is the movement of water through the environment. Okay? The environment is your surroundings. So the rocks, the soil, the plants, the animals, the lakes, the rivers, the buildings, everything is your surroundings. That's all part of your environment. Okay? So we're going to talk about how the water moves through the environment. Now within that there's 3 main parts that we're going to talk about of the water cycle. Okay? But first we got to start at a body of water. A body of water is where water is usually always at. Okay? So, what do you call a large body of water if it's fresh water? A lake. Now if it's a large body of water and it's salt water, what do you call it? Sea or ocean. So oceans, seas, lakes, rivers, creeks, streams, ponds, swamps, marshes, bogs are all forms of bodies of water. We got a starting point for our water cycle, okay? Please do not climb on the other.
Just don't fall.
Responsible for
Oh,
yourself.
I don't. I guess he doesn't want you
Okay.
down there.
So we got this body of water.
He doesn't want you up there.
Girls, thank you. If it's warm like today, you got the heat, you got a little bit of wind, and that water's going to go from a liquid into a vapor and go up in the atmosphere. What do we call that process of liquid changing from liquid going from a liquid to a vapor? Yes? Evaporation. So we got evaporation. Okay? Now, once it's up here, that water's evaporated, it's a vapor, it's a gas, it rises up into the atmosphere, it starts cooling off and forming clouds. What do we call that when it goes from a gas back to a liquid and forms clouds? What do we call that process?
I want to say evaporation.
Nope, not evaporation. We already covered that one. What do we call that process of forming clouds? A gas back to a liquid. Not fog. Okay, this is condensation. Condensation is the formation of clouds. Now, after we have clouds, they get really heavy and they start getting dark. More and more water accumulates. They can't hold any more water, and that water falls back to Earth. What do we call the process of water falling back to Earth from the atmosphere?
Rain.
That's one form of it. What's that process called? Precipitation. So the process of water flowing back to Earth is precipitation. So we got rain, snow, sleet, hail, mist, fog, lots and lots of different things. So when that water heats up and goes from a liquid to a vapor, it's called evaporation. Forming clouds is, and when it falls back is, when it falls back is, when it falls back is precipitation. When it goes up, it's evaporation, condensation, precipitation, okay? Now, moving on. Is this good water? Alright, we'll come back to that one then. Now, we got our model here. This is a representation. It's not to scale, okay? It's not to scale, it's a representation. So it's very similar to what you will find around here. Guys, if I can't hear myself, you can't hear me either, okay? I'll try and get it so you guys can see. We got construction area. We got a residential or home area. We have hills. We have deforestation. We have industrial, commercial, or school area. We have agricultural area. We have natural green space. We have rivers and creeks and streams. We have roads, and we have a lake. Okay? So guys, if you back off the table and not lean on it, people behind you can see a little bit more too. Okay? So we got lots of things going on here. And we got this really fun one in the center. This is a sewage treatment plant. Okay? Now, so we have this environment. We have this landscape. Now, what happens to soil when there's no vegetation on that soil? What happens when it rains on that soil?
It smears.
Okay, or it gets muddy or it moves. So we're going to put some loose soil in the spots where there's no grass, okay? So putting some loose soil out. Okay, we got some loose soil. Now, soil. Now, what do we put out for our lawns and in our gardens to make them really green and really lush? What do we do to make them really productive? What do we add to that soil? I mean, to that lawn?
Fertilizer?
Yes, fertilizer. We're going to add some fertilizer into our grassy areas. Yes, we're adding some fertilizer. Okay, we got fertilizer, we got soil out there. Now, all the paints, the solvents, the cleaners, all that stuff we find in our sinks and in garages and in barns. What do we call all those kinds of things combined? What would they be
See
called?
the Kenny yellow shirt. You may be able to see right in there being that you're taller. Are you sure?
No, not like that. What do you call the cleaners, the paints, the solvents, all that kind of stuff? All okay, chemicals. So you're going to find chemicals in your houses and in your garages. And then on the landscape, they're going to be along roads, in businesses, factories, that kind of stuff. We got chemicals out there too now, okay? Things are starting to add up. Everyone likes to clean vehicles, so we're going to wash our cars. Now a parking lot. What accumulates in a parking lot like this? What would accumulate out there when cars are parked there for a while? Generic term for it, yes. Mud, what else? Oil, gas, different lubricants and stuff. So we got lots of stuff that adds up on a parking lot over time, okay? Now, this one's a little bit more relative to you guys. I'm sure you guys can all relate to this one. All those papers, napkins, fast food bags, newspapers, all that homework that doesn't get done, all those forms that your parents are supposed to sign, just disappear. They just somehow end up out there in the environment, okay? Hot cans, water bottles, other containers, they just accumulate too. So notice our landscape is starting to look a little rough, right? over time, as little things keep adding, accumulating, adding up, accumulating. Okay? Now, it's a little bit more fun now. I need some volunteers. Okay, now, you 5. I need 3 right there, 1 here, and 1 here. The rest of you step back so they can get up close.
Girls, you got one coming in here. He's trying to get in there at the
Where's the
bottom.
other 2?
He's
Come up. Where's the other one?
right here behind you, Lucas.
I need 1 more up here in front. And then everyone needs to kind of move in after they're in place. You guys can move back in and see what's going on. Okay. Guys. Okay, so you guys are going to be clouds. So clouds are where? They're up here in the atmosphere, right? And precipitation goes which direction? Down. Okay, so we're not, wait. We're not going sideways. So you're not going to rain on your classmates. You're not going to rain on your teachers or parents. And you're not going to rain on me, okay? So we got our model here. This is our landscape. This is where you're going to rain. So from a angle downward, please make it rain on our landscape. You don't have to hold the bottle sideways. You can do it at an angle down, okay? Please make it rain on the landscape. Now watch what's happening. What's happening to our rivers? What's happening to the streams? What's happening to lakes as more and more water comes? You guys don't have to answer right now. Just watch. I want you guys to see what's going on. So all over the whole entire landscape, not just one spot. Okay? Things are starting to move. They're changing. So all that little bit we added, it's all accumulating in different spots, okay? Okay, rainstorm's over. Okay, now, let me ask that question we asked earlier. Now, put your hands down. Is this the water you guys want to go swimming in?
No. Yes, no.
Is this water you want to go play in? No. You want to go fishing in and eat the fish out of that water? No. You want to drink that water? No. Okay, you guys are from Jonesville, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of you live out in the country. When you turn on that faucet, where's that water coming from? A well. Where's that water? The well getting its water from? Not the lake. Nope, not the rain. Nope, not the ocean. You live that close to the ocean?
No.
Okay. Where's that water coming from when we turn on that well water? The ground. So is this all these chemicals, all these pollutants we put on the landscape? If there's too much of them, they accumulate. They're going to filter down and end up in our groundwater. When you turn on that faucet, that's the water we're going to be pulling up. So if we pollute the water on the surface, it could actually be polluting the water that we drink. You guys just said you don't want to drink that water. So I'm going to come back to this question. Is this good water?
Yes.
Okay, it looks clear. There's living things in it. That's how you know it's good. When there's not living things in it, and when it's not full of trash, then it's good water versus polluted water. Okay. Now, you guys live in Jonesville. Where does your water end up? Where does all the river and creek and lake water end up? Nope, not in the sewer. Nope, not, well, ultimately the ocean, yes. But where does it end up before that? That's really relative.
In the ground?
Nope, not in the, some of it ends up in the ground, but...
It goes to the Great Lakes.
Great Lakes. Well, what Great Lake does it go from if you're up by Jonesville? Lake Michigan. So, let's put this in perspective. What little bit you guys do to water in your backyard or near your home affects the people between your house and Lake Michigan. Think of all the people that use that water and are affected by that water between your house and Lake Michigan. And those are all the people that you affect. Your friends affect and your family affects by how they treat the environment and the water. So will all the little things you do good add up? All the little things negative you do add up. Okay? So what you guys need to do is line up over here and you guys need to get some water.